Sorry. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I see we have a lot of people in tonight, which is awesome, but that makes me a little nervous, having a little bit of anxiety. I've never run Werewolf the Forsaken before, so it's a first time for me. We're going to have a good deal of fun, I'm sure, and probably screw something up hardcore that aficionados are going to catch and just grill me over. I know it. So, that being said, there are some fun things we're doing tonight. Those who are here for the Cthulhu Tech streams are going to be used to this. We're doing a donation for bonuses in game to the players. So if you donate or tip 100 bits or $1 in donations, you will be able to add one dice that goes into a pool for either the players to use, or if you are a devious person, which I love, it goes to the NPCs. I will update those. You can see those right below me, the player bonus dice and the NPC bonus dice. So that is going over for the entire stream. Whatever you want to do, just as soon as you put a bit donation up there or just a donation up there, let me know where you want it to go. I'll adjust that, and the players will have access to it, or the NPCs will.
Please don't give drama dice to the plants.
Yes, no.
This isn't Cthulhu.
That stays in Cthulhu Tech.
You know, I don't know yet. It's a world of darkness.
I'd say they probably could happen in this game.
If you want to
Tremere.
give dice to the Maljian, I'm 100% for that. That's fine.
Please don't do that.
So, to kick things off, I want to introduce everybody here in chat to our pack, newly formed and just as of tonight, newly named. What is the pack name, guys?
Winter's
Winter's
Rage.
Rage.
Awesome. So, learn a little more about our characters involved here. Let's go straight. My favorite counterclockwise. Nate, I always put you directly counterclockwise. I don't know why.
Why would you do that to me?
Because I secretly want you to fuck up. No.
That's Ray's word.
Nate, tell me a little bit about Cyrus Howell. What's up with him? What's a small blurb for him?
Cyrus Howell was part of an obscure religious sect that did a lot of missionary work, and recently he has left that obscure Christian sect and formed his own called the Lamb of the Shadow Revelation. Yeah, so basically he's a bit of a preacher, calls himself a religious leader, not ordained in any way, and yeah, trying to come to terms with his religious beliefs and the fact that he's had some revelations that have come from God.
Question mark?
Dot question mark.
Fair enough. Jeff, why don't you tell me about Vincent?
Vincent is a no-nonsense type of guy. He's a speaker of the dead, where most Aether are they deal with spirits in one way, shape, or form. I do, but I more deal with the dead, the ghosts, which makes him a bit different. He definitely favors a threatening presence over a cordial one. And yeah, he favors his pack above all. His pack is his family.
Okay. Jesse, why don't you tell me a little about Linnea?
Linnea.
Okay.
Linnea Snyder is a hunter in darkness, and she was a lawyer before she changed. Blood will out, they say, so she went from prosecuting cases to now dealing with spirits because, well, that's what they do.
Yeah, so for Elodons, essentially they're kind of like arbiters of the oaths of the moon, as well as negotiators and diplomats. And you took more of a diplomat to the spirit courts type role.
Well, diplomat's a word for it. Very much so like Vincent, she prefers to be a bit threatening.
So you guys have a great level of spiritual, we're not bad guys, juju going on.
Well, if I'm supposed to keep them the hell out of the material realm, yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So continue on this counterclockwise theme here. That brings us to Ethan Sanders. Corey, tell us a bit about this guy.
Well, Ethan Sanders used to be a family man. Unfortunately, before his first change, that's kind of a thing of the past now. But he's always been a... He wasn't a made man necessarily, but he was an associate of Mafia. Basically, he was a freelance cleaner for the Mafia.
Okay.
He goes in, he has a couple of people who work with him, and he, makes bad stuff disappear. And so that's more or less his stock and trade among the pack. He's their Rahu. So when it comes down to getting down and dirty, he's the one who's up front and making sure everybody else is doing what they need to.
Okay. And Russ, first time joining us on stream, you are playing Robert Campbell. What is up with your Hunters in Darkness?
Well, before his change, he was a private investigator. So he was used to getting information, which as an Araka is one of his roles for the pack. Another one that he's developed since then has been, his first hit usually ends a fight.
Yes. Mr. Campbell has a gift that we like to call bullshit in a can. It is... It allows him to reroll all failed dice whenever he rolls an attack against an opponent that doesn't see him. It's called Eviscerate. It's a basic Araka gift for their moon facet, and it's just silly as shit. And you took the stealth one too, right? So you can't even be seen, and then you just one-time people and leave.
So you mean hit and run?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you took Shadow Pelt too, though. That's an amazing gift.
Yep.
So he is definitely an information gatherer and assassin par excellence, which brings us to Mr. William Hubert? Yes, Hubert. Our Stormlord's Cahalith.
Yes, Stormlord. In the Cahalith, I actually took War Howler as opposed to like a storyteller or yarn spinner. While I did have some basic training with the with lores and whatnot, I'm more in the announcing that we're here to fucking end you.
Fair enough.
He's somebody that tried to join the military and washed out of basic and kind of got disillusioned with the government and has tried to attempt to make sure that he is off the grid entirely. Everything's paid in cash. All of his side jobs are all cash only. And after his first change, he had to basically break it off with the love of his life, and now kind of has a half relationship with her when she managed to find out where he's at.
Sounds like a touchstone to me.
Yeah, kind of rough one too.
Fair enough, fair enough. So that's our pack in a nutshell. So for the setting here, as we have already talked about offline, but for chat, it's in the middle of winter. It's late December in Chicago. The winter has been especially harsh. There's a lot of issues with public transportation. The weather's been dropping below zero on the regular, which made some of the transit stops not work as well as they could be. Now, for the Uratha, this creates a unique problem for all of you, because at this point in time, you have a lot of like spirits of the transit, stations and of the trains that are trying to make sure that they can fulfill their duties, which sometimes in this like extremes can lead them to urging or even claiming or possessing humans to try to fix what's wrong so they can go about their duties and have the physical world represent the spirit world. Now, luckily, you guys don't have territory near a lot of public transit. There's a bus stop near you, but that's really about it. You don't have to worry about the trains. You don't have to worry about subways. You guys have this nice, very typical Chicago 3-flat off of Racine, which is right across from the Sherman Park. So for those not familiar with Chicago, Sherman Park is a small park, has a little bit of a bit of water around it, like a small landmass in the middle. There's a library down the street from it. Racine has generally been seen as a not too good street to live off of. There's usually a lot of gang activity, depending on where on Racine you're at. Where you guys are at in back of the yards, it's like 50-50. Things aren't that great, but they're not that terrible either. And since you guys patrol 2 blocks around your house, essentially, you have this wonderful little, I guess, carved out territory within the spirit realms and within the physical plane where you guys are kind of like the authority. You hedge your bets, you make sure that there's no weird spiritual shit going on. Oh!
Who did this?
We got a host. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Back to what's going on here. With the winter being so bad, you guys have seen some issues with the public transit and the normal transit around the street being difficult to get through. Plows have come by, but it hasn't been on a regular basis. They've been trying to salt, but it can't keep up. The snow is just so thick that you're looking at 6 to 8 inches no matter what is done. They plowed this morning, cool. By mid-afternoon, it's 8 inches again. It's a real big problem. Now, what this does, is that any spirits that are really kind of built around cold or frost or winter or snow are getting almost supercharged by the natural weather going on right now. Now that also means that by extension, those spirits in the opposite are getting weaker. So fire spirits are getting weaker. Spirits of warmth are getting a lot more, effort to try to maintain themselves. They're spending more essence. Most essence that you get around the area is tinged with like frost for resonance. So that basically forms as like when a spirit takes in that type of resonance or that type of essence, they get like a sheen of frost over their spectral bodies in the shadow. So it actually starts to affect things on a big, big level. Now, for the pack, this is both good and bad. Your totem is Frost Wolf, an aspect of the Winter Wolf, which means that the winter for him, being this strong, has boosted your totem beyond his normal capacities. Right now, he grants you a gift, but currently, his level of essence and his, I guess, oomph and rank in the spirit realms are artificially inflated due to the winter. Now, the pack, you guys have essentially a locust in the basement that's hidden, if I'm not mistaken there, Jeff, right?
Yes.
Tell us what the locust is, because you're the one who bought it for the pack. What does that locust look like? What is it?
So the locust is actually in like a little glass container that actually goes around a necklace. And what's inside of it is a piece of glacier from long ago that was actually given to Vincent once he officially joined his tribe. And this shard, this never melting glacial shard, has essence of Winterwolf in it, basically.
Yeah, and it resonates with your totem very strongly, which means that for right now in this winter, your locust acts as if it's 1 higher. So instead of being a 1, it's now a 2, which increases its radius of influence as well. So this has kind of pumped you guys up. Like this entire winter has been almost a boon for you guys because your totem enjoys it. The Stormlords love the shit out of this because it's more of a testing situation. And it works within the resonance of your locust too, which makes it stronger than normal. There is a bad side though, and we're seeing that in the human worlds right now. They're having struggles getting to work. Transit's not working the way it's supposed to be. In the spirit realms, this also causes chaos because certain courts of spirits that are more geared towards frost spirits, like water spirits and spirits of like cold, they're starting to bully smaller spirits into sway. So, for example, if it's usually like around a court of spirits around a smokestack, the cold spirits there are now taking up residence and starting to kind of kick out those other hosts of spirits, and it causes huge dysfunction. It's getting kind of crazy. And it's kind of driven some spirits to the point of desperation almost to try to impact the physical world. So like I said earlier, you're getting spirits that are imbued into the transportation system trying to possess mortals and make things work and try to fix them. And it causes such a huge issue because they're doing things they're not supposed to do. And whenever a spirit possesses a human or urges them, they get a bit obsessive compulsive about the desire of that spirit. So for example, if a trained spirit or a transit spirit wants to fix the L, as a just a minor thing, they'll possess like a worker. The worker will start fixing everything it can, not just the train, but other stuff that may cause weird issues. Like the guy seems to go insane to everyone around him, but in his mind, he's just following the voices in his head that are telling him what to do. And that's where Uratha, the Forsaken, usually step in and try to fix this. So that's you guys'...
Nate.
Oh yeah, we can't hear you, Nate.
We can hear him.
I could.
He couldn't hear you.
I couldn't hear.
Oh, you can hear anything here. Okay.
I couldn't hear anything. I was
You
like,
hear us now.
what happened?
So we're going to give you the Cliff Notes version. The winter's really, really bad, but it's been really good for you guys because your totem and your loci are based around frost and cold. So they're artificially boosted because the winter's, horrifically intense. It's like -0 on the average. Snowfall is just intense. And that makes spirits that are attuned to that type of thing much stronger right now. But on the flip side, it causes havoc because those spirits now are kind of taking over the opposite territories that they normally would because they feel buffed up. They're stronger because of the cold. So they're kind of like causing a bit of a chaos in the spiritual choirs around the area. Now, you guys, where you're situated, across from Sherman, there's some water there. You have a lot of like frost spirits in the area. Naturally, because of your locust and because of your totem, frost spirits kind of gather around your house, essentially. So for you guys, this is all good. It's awesome. But there have been some issues. You know, like I was saying that Nate didn't get the chance to hear, the spirits that are trying to fix things and trying to get back to normal, they're actually possessing people now to urge them to fix things, to urge them to try to repair transit. And it's causing them to go a little bit loony, like a little crazy, and almost in some cases endanger their own lives. And that's usually where the Aratha step in and try to fix things. You guys police that type of stuff when spirits cross over too far, you handle that. So there's a lot of cases currently where a lot of werewolves have had to kind of fix the imbalance in nature right now. For you guys having 2 blocks off Racine, it's not so much an issue. There's no trains nearby. You don't have the L. You don't have any subways. You just have a bus stop down the street. That's been a bit harsh, sure. There is a spirit that's in the bus stop that's kind of getting weak and desperate at this point because it's refreshed by all people, like the anxiety of going to work or the first day of school. It's fed by that type of emotion, and now it's starting to die a slow and painful death because it has no essence because people aren't coming there anymore to refresh it, essentially. So that's problem number 1 in the local area. Problem number 2 comes with our wonderful Mr. William Hubert, our Cahalith. You have been having some sleepless nights the last couple of days, most particularly last night. You're starting to have nightmares. And the most visceral dream of late definitely was last night. And that problem is when you go to sleep, you dream normally, but then you start feeling yourself being swept into almost like a shadow landscape. And you see that your entire pack has been killed. You stand, barely alive, beaten and bloody over the remains of your compatriots, your pack mates. Your house is torn down, it's burnt, it's smoldering, the winter's raging on. But in the sky, you see these spirits battling for supremacy in the shadow. It's ice spirits and fire spirits just kind of duking it out. So you have spirits of the blizzard, spirits of the storm, fighting against this rising conflagration of flame spirits that just kind of gathers into one massive burst of heat and sweeps across the landscape. What makes it more disturbing is that as that huge fire spirit sweeps across the land of Chicago, you can hear the screams of the humans in the reel. You can hear that crackling of wood as their homes burn down. You can smell and taste the burnt hair and flesh in your nostrils and on your tongue. And it's so visceral and so intense that when you wake up, you're gagging. So the morning you wake up, you just get cut out of this nightmare and you can't help yourself. Like you're starting to cough up a bit. You're starting to gag. It's hard to catch your breath. Whenever you breathe, you still smell that burnt hair and you taste that burnt skin on your tongue. Now, for everyone else, the morning has been normal. You guys got up, started doing your normal shit, maybe making some breakfast, just cleaning up around the house, handling normal affairs. And when William wakes up a little later than normal, you can hear him coughing and gagging from his room.
Use like what I use like with a cult or something to try and interpret the message that she's sending me.
Sure. Yeah, that would legit. If you want to try to dig a little bit into that that dream a bit, because you are used to this. This does happen for your auspice.
Right.
Not bad. So when you sit up, once you manage to gather yourself, you calm your breathing. You're sitting on the edge of your bed, kind of like hunkered down, hunched over, your elbows are on your knees, and you're just kind of thinking about like what this could be, trying to reason through the puzzle that you've been sent in your dream. You remember that there have been a couple of fires that have been happening once a day for the past couple of days. It was a small tidbit in the news. Really, it's not a big deal. A lot of it has been chalked up to like somebody had left their space heater on, or maybe an electrical fire took place. With this intensive weather, this type of malfunction usually happens in some of the the heating mechanisms for lower class and lower income homes. It hasn't been really touched on a lot, but you do remember that, and that's the one thing you connect this to. Then you hit the imbalance of what you've been seeing personally with the spirit world right now, where the winter spirits are kind of bullying all the fire spirits and all the spirits of warmth and hearth. They're getting weaker, but they're getting more desperate. So the idea of these two opposing forces and spirits going to war is not really out of the realm of possibility. The fact you've got a vision, though, about it, at least like what you're interpreting as one, there may be something more involved with this.
Okay. I'll get myself composed. You know, um, if the bathroom's empty, I'll go. Get myself presentable, splash cold water in my face, get a grip on myself and everything, so that I am presentable to my pack.
So Ethan
I'll
is
be
in
making everybody steak and eggs.
which those of pure primal urge of 2 or higher will really appreciate, because you get
That's
that
why
meat.
I'm making steak and eggs.
Ethan is in the bathroom as you come to knock on the door. Ethan's washing his hands. You just got through taking care of a job the night before. You were up late night. It was a bit of a trek though. Like going through that snow has not made things easy. Luckily though, for you, lately you've been managing to avoid jobs that have been in other territory of other Forsaken. Haven't any issues with that, but last night was particularly messy. Some guy died in this like ridiculously bad fire that was set by a mobster to kind of scare other people into paying protection money. It was a little gruesome, a little nasty. You got it done. You're just a bit messy from that night. So as you're finishing cleaning up, you hear somebody knock at the bathroom door.
Kind of go over and dry my hands off and kind of creak open the door to look out. Hey, William, you all right, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Just didn't realize you got in late.
When am I not getting in late? Need the bathroom.
Yeah, as soon as you're ready.
All right. He just finishes up. Kind of has his stuff scattered all over the over the sink. He just kind of grabs it all up and just kind of sets it aside somewhere. Linnea's gonna be pissing at me for that later, and just all yours, bruv, and just heads out.
And I'll go ahead and get myself ready.
Yeah, as you move out, you can smell the steak in the air, the meat cooking that Vincent has started making for everybody this morning. It's almost a relief to get the smell of that burnt hair and burnt flesh out of William's nose. And slowly, as you start washing your hands, you start kind of ridding yourself of that horrific stench and the taste even. It just starts to gradually fade.
I didn't want to interrupt, but Cyrus will put on the tea kettle, having heard William's cough upstairs. I'm assuming he must have caught a cold. It's quite a winter.
So once William gets done in the bathroom, heads downstairs. Ethan heads down first, and you guys all have breakfast. Vincent actually makes what to everybody is a very appealing breakfast. Between the eggs and the steak, there's not a lot of vegetable love here. Not that it's necessary for those of primal urge of 2 or higher. You
I
don't.
happen to like vegetables, thank you.
Yeah, but you don't gain sustenance from it. It's like, what is this? It's not even something you can hunt. It's a vegetable.
You can still eat to enjoy things.
That's
Yeah, but
true.
what's the point of that?
You can enjoy the taste. But when you all notice William sits down at the table to get something to eat, he looks a little disheveled as opposed to normal.
You okay there?
Yeah,
What's going on,
absolutely.
big guy?
Linnea is just going to push him a cup of coffee. Look like you need this.
Absolutely. Who doesn't need coffee this time in the morning?
That
You're
cough
late.
sounds like you could use some chamomile, brother.
Listen. I
Anything
heard
you
some,
say, Reverend.
I heard some noises coming from your room last night. Just wanted to check and make sure you're all right. It wasn't anything bad. Sounded like you were maybe having a bad dream or something.
Wasn't a bad dream. It was a very intense vision.
How do you know the difference?
When you have one, you'll definitely know the difference. The difference is it was definitely something to do with all of these more recent fires erupting. And when you can't get the taste and smell of smoke and charred flesh out of your mouth.
Ethan was in mid-sip when you said that, and he's like,
Cheers. I'll drink my coffee.
fires, you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about these fires?
They're unnatural. There's something about them that that we need to figure out. I don't know if it's maybe fire spirits trying to retaliate against the winter.
Would make sense. one side is definitely stronger than the other right now. Come
Right.
summer, that'd be completely different. But for now, absolutely, I could see that being a possibility.
Right. I think there's an imbalance that's being addressed here.
Now, I'm just curious. When you say that the fires are unnatural, does that mean that I guess I'm not quite understanding what you mean by unnatural. Isn't all fire natural?
Well, I suspect that the reasons that they're being lit is motivated by more than someone's natural inclination, or the fact that heat's necessary,
So you mean arson?
or spirit motivated.
Either
Spirit
way is
guided
arson.
arson.
But
Aren't
that's
spirits
for
natural?
sure.
Well, fire burns. Spirits get angry. They burn things. I mean, seems natural to me.
I mean, thing that I dealt with. Job I had last night. A employer needed to send a message.
The prosecutor is looking at you from over the table.
Hey, look. I know what you're thinking. I didn't set the fire. I just cleaned up the mess.
Oh, Linnea, come on. Like, that really matters at this point. I mean, if anything, it gives you more business.
Right.
If you ever decide to go back to that crap.
In our line of work, do you think I'm going to have time to go back to that?
Sure.
Probably not.
Part time.
Part-time lawyer, that doesn't work very well normally.
No, part-time prosecutor doesn't exactly fit the bill or pay the bills.
Well, that's why you can't be a prosecutor anymore.
Couldn't
Well,
even do
she
it as
is
a defense
just-
lawyer
She kind of is, just
in a
not
different
on this
way.
plane of existence.
I mean, you could always go to you could
Now
always go to
she's an
small claim.
adjudicator.
Oh,
You know, you just take up
sounds
hobbies.
like
You know,
some things need to be adjudicated anyway.
always
Absolutely.
just take up a hobby like small claims. It's like, no, nobody would think any less of you.
I will throw this coffee cup at your head.
Please don't.
Don't waste coffee.
She'll actually overturn it and it's empty. It's too early for this.
Come on. Look, I've taken enough beating to my moneymaker. I really don't need any more.
If that was your moneymaker, you were a terrible made man.
Not in the face. Not in the face.
Said that shit out loud.
Why is this
man.
shit gotta get so volatile? Enjoy the goddamn steak and eggs, people.
Oh yeah. Speaking of
that.
which,
I
I'll
was
load up
my
my
brother's
plate.
shit.
All the way straight for the throat with this one. Fuck.
And now you know why I was a damn good prosecutor.
Well, I'm going to get up and pour myself a tea because I am intolerant of this vulgarity. I just simply cannot stand it.
I'm also gonna have tea because I'm a tea man, not a coffee man.
How dare you? You are insulting the beans. Go drink your dirty leaf water.
Damn right. If I could just steep meat, I might just be a meat tea man. I don't know. That'd be probably gross.
I'm pretty
but
sure that's called stew, bruv.
That's called broth.
Right.
Either way, I'm okay with
Absolutely.
both of those.
Did you
Add some
know?
caffeine
Did
powder
you,
to it. It's perfect.
you know what? You know what we need to do is we need to start cultivating bees because there's actually a species of bee that uses rotted meat to ferment into honey.
You had me at meat.
All right.
Oh, it sounds like
I'm
it's
just
a good way
saying.
to get rid of bodies.
Well, can I get anyone a tea? I'm going to go.
Yeah. I'll take a tea.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, really quick. Your
Yes.
gift that you have that lets you see Twilight, is it always active?
It is always active, my sir.
You will see Frostwolf walking around your kitchen in the Twilight. So Twilight's this weird in-between, for those, especially in chat here, that aren't familiar with this. Twilight's that in-between state between the shadow, there's a spirit world, and the physical world. So what happens is when a spirit tries to manifest and affect the real world, they go into Twilight. Now, as Jeff, you turn and see that Cyrus is going to get tea, you'll see Winterwolf walking very calmly through your kitchen. For Cyrus's perspective, the cup you get frosts suddenly. It just gets cold to the touch. There's like a small layer of frost over it.
Also, just as a reminder, my touchtone spirit buddy, my black actual like wolf, lupus wolf,
Yep.
will probably be nearby as well.
Okay. At that point, since you do have a spirit buddy, he is in the shadow. He will stay near you. You'll see him just kind of looking at Frostwolf. Frostwolf just stares at him like, "How dare you be in my territory?" Literally, like, you're his pack. You're his pack, and to have this thing here is disrespectful to him, at least in his opinion. So when he stops at the edge of your kitchen to your dining area where you guys are having breakfast, and goes to sit on his haunches, your wolf kind of like tucks tail and slowly backs the fuck away. And Frost will
I'll just turn and look. I'll just turn and look at it. Go hunt. You don't like being in here anyways.
It looks outside at the window, and I will actually move you guys over so you can get a good idea of what it looks like outside for the most part. It's rough, guys. Like, winter right now is really, really rough. Most days right now, that snowfall is what you see all the time. And it just constantly replenishes anything that plows take away, anything that people do with like shoveling their streets or throwing down, salt and like other ice melting stuff. It just gets replaced super fast because the snow just does not stop falling, which is why your totem is supercharged right now.
He'll do what he needs to do. He is my spirit buddy, not a spirit slave. So,
Yeah, it looks outside. It's like, what am I going to find out there? Like frost spirits? But it just kind of gives like a head tilt and just kind of jumps through the window of your house in the shadow out into the snow. But Frostwolf just kind of stares at you, Jeff, because it knows that you can see him, whereas the others may sense him and feel his presence via like the outside effects, like the frost on things. It knows you can see him.
I'll just look at him and kind of smirk. You're liking this shit, aren't you? I'll just kind of gesture outside to all the snow. I know you do. I do too. It's okay.
He tilts his head, then he looks over at William, then looks back at you.
I don't know yet. William.
What?
So, is there anything else? Frostwolf kind of knows something's up with you.
What do you mean?
Like I'm assuming he's referring to how you feel based on your visions.
You get a resounding, like, in the gut, like in the beast in you, the spirit side of you, Jeff, knows that yes, that's exactly what he's curious about. Like, what's going on with this?
Mm-hmm. Is there anything more you can tell us? If not, I mean, we can go check it out because, spirits fucking with the real world that's kind of our gig, especially in our area. So if it's in our area, we got to check it out. If it's not in our area, then we can still check it out.
I have a feeling it's going to become a huge issue for some reason. It's a repetitive thing that keeps getting stronger.
Nate,
and more personal.
Your teacup will almost get too cold to hold.
Well, I better set it down in front of him before I pour the tea.
Yeah, the frosted tea. You also see, as you're like, what the fuck, and put it down. One, you'll feel your totem, obviously. He's always around you, but his presence now is stronger. And you'll see like a little outline on the tile, the linoleum in your kitchen will actually kind of frost over a little bit. As Jeff, you'll see his ears kind of perk up, and he'll look out the window.
I'll notice, and I'll stand up, and I'll walk over and kind of glance out the window and look around and see what's going on. I will utilize my ability to Quicksilver Flesh, as I will allow my ears to basically manipulate themselves into wolf ears.
Okay.
See if I can hear anything, notice anything different.
Yeah. So go ahead and give me a wits plus composure. Wits plus resolve, and add in the bonus you get for the sensory adjustment for Quicksilver.
Wits plus resolve. Okay.
It's actually it's wits plus resolve.
And then where do you add like extra?
So once you go to click the red dice, it'll ask you for modifiers. Add it there.
Ah, perfect. Just like pretty much every other game we fucking play.
Pardon me.
No successes with that many die. I hate
You look down. You're like, I don't know what he's talking about. This wolf's crazy. There's nothing there.
Yeah,
You don't see it. You just don't see it.
I'll just kind of, I'll let my ears fall back into what they were because there's no roll necessary, and I'll just look at it and be like, I don't notice anything out of the ordinary, buddy. What are you looking at?
You'll see him vanish. He goes fully into
I'll
the shadow.
start-
Ethan will
start-
actually.
Go ahead.
Ethan will hop up and with his coffee cup and kind of go and look out too.
Something's definitely wrong. He's gone. He went to check something out, and he definitely kind of motioned this way before he did so.
Is there? Can
Well,
I see
actually-
anything out there? You need me to roll for this, Ray?
Yeah, wits and resolve. And any bonus you have for any merits that may give you a bonus on perception.
You said wits and resolve.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, like, investigation is when you're actually actively looking. Wits and resolve is to see if you just notice things that you're not knowing what you're looking for.
Okay.
Not bad, sir. So, Ethan,
Well done.
as you look out, for you, this is more back to your training as a Rahu. Like, this is your job to be prepared for war, be prepared for things that can change in a moment that may be hostile. You see, like, maybe halfway down the block, well, about a half block away, let's be honest, you guys have a library that's made out of stone that's on the edge of the park, edge of Sherman Park. It is ablaze.
Oh fucking hell!
What's
I'll
wrong?
sip
What?
the tea. What?
The fucking library's on fire.
What?
It's like the library is on fire.
Well, we ought to call 911 then. I'll go grab the phone and I'll dial 911.
Okay? So you dial 911, you'll get 911. What's your emergency?
Well, there's a fire down the street at the library, at the such and such district library.
Oh, I will send somebody immediately. Are there people around? Like, what do you see?
I can just see it from the window. I mean, we're going to run down there in a minute just to check and.
Oh, please don't.
see.
Stay back. Make sure you maintain a safe distance from the fire. We'll make sure that fire emergency crews are going to be there as soon as they can.
Okay, well, come quick. It's on fire. I'll hang up the phone.
I feel like, well, do it. Click. So,
We should go check and see that there's nobody inside.
given the snow, you know it's going to be a while before a fire engine can get down the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Ethan's already going to get his coat.
Yep.
Get his
I'd say
shit
Linnea is
on.
up and getting her coat.
Okay.
Well, I have leather moccasins, so I don't need a coat.
You have the grace of the one above. You don't need.
Yes, I do. Yeah, there genuinely could be people in there, and I don't care about what the fireman or the 911 operator says. We have to go save those people if there's anyone in there.
I agree to a certain extent. Like,
I'm going to be yelling
For
at
sure.
some spirits this morning. I can feel it.
me too.
All right, so everybody grabs their gear, and you guys start trying to truck through the snow. Yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so as you guys get all your clothing on, like the extra layers and all that good stuff, and you head outside, you're trekking through 6 to 8 inches of snow. It takes a little while to get down there. Like, mind you, it's just down the street, half a block away. Should be no more than like a 2-minute walk. But you really have to book it if you want to get there soon, because as you're seeing it, so the Sherman Library is literally like these old school, like, gray stone, facade on the outside. The library itself is not that bad. Like, there's usually at least 1 or 2 librarians working. Plus, you have the kids that will come in from the school district around the area to do homework or good stuff, check stuff out. And given COVID's going on, like, that's a bigger thing. Like, well, we can't go to the school library, so we just go here. So more than likely, you guys, assuming knowing the ebb and flow of your neighborhood, there are probably at least a couple people in there, maybe a half a dozen or so. As you guys start getting outside on the sidewalk and start really just trudging through the snow, it's going to take probably 10 minutes to get down there, if not more, just to get through the snow. Unless someone would like to use a gift
Uh,
to ignore the travel restrictions due to the weather,
I have that gift.
as Sir Hubert can do. You don't have to. I'm just saying that this would be a good opportunity for that gift to shine.
Yeah, I'm absolutely spending 5 essence.
Okay. So, for all those in the pack, as Hubert focuses on his connection with Luna and with Father Wolf, he activates a gift that allows you guys basically.
Not Father Wolf.
Well, it is him, but it's his descendant, Winterwolf.
Yep.
Did somebody say harsh winter? Laughs in Canadian. Nice, Boobell. I used to live in Chatham, by the way. Well, Blenheim, Ontario, so I understand. Anyways, as he calls in this connection with Skolas the Winter Wolf, through Father Wolf, through Luna, you guys notice that the snow is hindering you less and less. By the time you take 2 steps, it's like you're walking and it's not even there. You can start doing like a jog, a brisk walk, without worrying about, am I going to slip on ice? Am I going to miss a pothole because of the snow as you cross the street? You guys just make it right across. Within like 2 or 3 minutes, you make it there, and you'll see there's like a handful of people who've escaped the blaze. And the fire's so enraged that it's actually pouring out of the windows of the library. It's only a 2-story building, and it's just completely engulfed in flame. The rock's still there, but the fire is just blazing. Jeff, for you in the spirit world, in the twilight, there's a lot of fucked up looking fire spirits in this fire. Like, normally fire spirits, you know what they look like. They tend to follow certain behaviors. They look a certain way. These spirits are highly agitated. Something has driven them up and whipped them into a frenzy.
I'll relay that to these guys. There's something going on with the fire spirits. They're not a normal, like a burning fire. They've been agitated, highly agitated.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do we do about it? It's fire.
Well,
How about
Couple
none
of
of
us.
none of you guys get burned to death? That's a good start.
that's probably a good start.
Oh,
A couple of us can go to the other side and see what we can do to at least calm it out. Maybe get it to a regular fire. Because at this point, with the way it's raging, I don't know if firefighters will be able to pull it out. They'll be fighting this blaze for hours. They just
Hey,
won't want
Ray.
to go out.
Yes.
Predator's claim.
Mhm.
Would that be applicable here?
That's an interesting take. Let's take a look. So Predator's Claim lets you ward an area. It's a warding gift for those in chat. It lets the Uratha daub an area with the essence of a werewolf, empowering her, within it against all spirits that would challenge their dominance. So essentially, she can affect an area up to her purity renown, which, what is your purity? 1. So 10 yards. And basically, you increase your spirit rank to try to assert dominance over the spirits in the area. You could definitely do that. It'd be best set in the shadow, because that way you can actually interact with the spirits
Yep.
and assert your
Which is
dominance.
what I was thinking.
Okay. So the idea here is, a lot of us here in chat, you'll notice, we've played Apocalypse. In Apocalypse, you can step sideways no matter where you are. It just gets harder depending on what you're using, reflective service or whatever. In Forsaken, you need a locus, a spiritual weak point in the gauntlet to cross over. So those that want to go into the shadow will actually have to go back to your house. Your primary haven, I want to say, but it's a vampire term. I feel dirty saying it, but you want to go back.
Place.
You want to go back to your safe
Dirty,
place.
dirty reach.
Yeah, your safe place. Your safe, place. Go down.
That's what the merit's called. So
Go down to the locus, and then you will do the test to cross over.
that is the plan. I will be doing
Yep.
so. I will
I'd say
definitely
literally
be-
without a second word, Linnea turns around and starts walking back.
All right, who's
I'll
going
be better
back?
timing it. I'm not-
I don't know what any of them are doing, but I'm using my Quicksilver flesh
Okay.
to give myself some wolf ears because I want to hear if there's anybody in this fire.
Yeah.
I'll
So
just say as I turn around that we're heading back and we're going to go on the other side and see what we can do.
You guys have fun with that. That still creeps me out.
who's going back to the
What's-
safe place to go into the shadow?
That
I
would
would
be,
be doing so.
I'd say me and Jeff.
So
it
Vincent
appears.
and Linnea are going. William, Robert, Ethan, and Cyrus are staying on site. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
On task.
Yep.
So as you guys start heading back, Cyrus activates his gift, and you'll hear a child crying out, and you'll hear him try to crawl across the ground towards the door.
Okay. I will grab a big handful of snow, throw it over the top of me, and charge forward into the flames.
Okay. So as soon as you start charging through the throng of onlookers, which is probably about half a dozen at best, they're close to the door. They're trying to see what's going on. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, there's still people inside." They're panicking. People on their cell phones trying to dial 911. You can hear the operators, much like when you talk to them, because you're enhanced senses at this point in time. They're like, "Oh, what's your emergency?" Oh, of course, we've got firefighters en route. They're trying to get there as quickly as they can. Please stay away from the blaze. You charge right past them and go towards that door. You get snow that you've tossed over you. As you get to the door, that like haze of white showers around you and immediately starts to melt as the heat of the flames just billows out from that door. The door's already been burst open, so there's no backlash here. The flames are at the top level. You drop down instinctively towards the ground to avoid getting burned. You can see about maybe a half dozen paces in, there's a kid in like a winter parka that's on the ground. His back's on fire. He's crawling. He's trying to make it to the door, but he's crying. He's in pain. He's having a lot of trouble.
I'll attempt to throw myself on top of the child and smother out the fire.
Okay. You will jump over. I need you to, let me check out the gifty gift. All right, so you will take 3 levels of lethal from the fire, but you can soak 1 level per success if you roll stamina plus your resolve.
Stamina. And resolve. And just roll that with the dice.
Roll that there dice.
Right there with that dice.
All
I
right.
got 2 and successes.
So you'll take
That's not me.
2 lethal.
I got 1 success.
You got one of them successes.
One of them theirs.
At least it reduces the damage. You'll take 2 lethal as you feel the flames as you jump over him. Not only hit you from below, but atop you. Now, luckily, the snow that's melted over your body is creating a bit of like a protection from this. So you only take the 2, and you'll have a full turn to act to get him out, which you can maneuver if you just grab him and take him without any care for his comfort.
Forgive my ignorance,
Armor?
but when
Not unless he's in Krynos.
Yeah,
Or,
that's for
Garu.
Garu. Go
when I
ahead.
take damage, marking it in the box, do I do it once, twice?
It
3
should be
times?
twice for lethal. It should do the X.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't care about the kid's comfort. I just don't want the kid to burn.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going to just take the kid out as fast as possible.
Okay. So you'll put yourself over him, smother the flame on him, get a little singed from that, and then like as you're dragging him out, you'll feel that watery like layer over you from the snow evaporate, and you'll get that heat wash on the top of you. So by the time you drag him out, you smell of burnt hair, and you're like looking at 2nd to 3rd degree sunburns. But the kid is okay. You can see the back of his parka has melted to his back. His skin's red and flush. He feels hot, which would be part and parcel for what he just went through. As you pull him out and pull him free, you see the crowd rushes up like, oh my God, is he okay? Is he okay? They're all trying to get snow and put him on him to kind of cool him down. A couple people are just throwing snow on top of you, just scooping handfuls of it and tossing it on you, which smothers any bit of flame you may have had on your person, but you're still burned a bit.
Yeah. I'll just tell them, be careful with him. His jacket melted onto him. He probably has some severe burns. Just keep him off of his back.
Okay.
Don't shock the poor boy's system.
Anybody
I'm
else
going to, like-
unseen doing anything?
Yeah, once he's actually got him
Oh, well-
outside and like.
Yeah, I heard Russ though. What's up?
I was going to watch the crowd to see if there's anybody who's acting not quite
Fair enough.
normal in
Yeah.
the situation.
You can give me, since you were looking for something in specific, you can give me a wits plus investigation. There we go. Cool. So you see some people who are a little unnaturally interested in how hurt the kid is. Like, what's going on there? Ooh, that's an interesting burn. I wonder if it hurts terribly. But nobody who's like fascinated with the fire. This is all about, oh my God, how bad is that kid hurt? That's weird. Oh, can I see his bones? Like, that's what you're picking up, but not a lot of like, no sense of people like are staring at the fire too much or like, ah ha ha, satisfied, so to speak. Nobody in the crowd seems to be a potential suspect for the arson.
Nobody is sus yet.
Not yet. Now, Ethan.
Those ones are like looking at the burns and whatnot. I'm like, that's still
Yeah, it's
a
still
little
weird.
bit.
That's still weird. But
It's
that
still
could
a
be
bit off.
that could be morbid curiosity or perhaps a spiritual thing. Who knows? Ethan, what's up there, Corey?
Just know once I've got the kid outside, I'll actually, if I can just make a medicine roll.
Of course.
To help him to try and
Yeah.
start some burn treatment.
Given that this is not a very controlled environment, I'm going to say finesse is the appropriate response. So I'd say wits plus medicine.
What's medicine? Okay. Alright. No modifiers. Oh, suck. Okay.
Oh, so you're just stuck because whenever Cyrus pulls off the kid to try to make sure he's okay, you can see that, like he was saying, the child's Parker has melted to his back, and that just stops you because you just dealt with this last night, and for you,
Yeah.
that memory is still fresh there, and you just kind of have a moment of pause where you're like, oh, a disconnect occurs. Chris, does William do anything while he's here?
I'm looking to see if there's movement in any of the windows. If I could hear anybody banging, screaming, yelling.
Sure. Wits and resolve.
12 hours later.
It's a new character sheet. We're getting used to it. That's all.
Yep.
Oh, I was blaming roll 20 again.
Nope. Only one success.
So, checking stuff out, kind of making sure you focus past it. Then the crowd's gathered, the panic has gone on because of the new kid's, immersion from the fire, people seeing his wounds. You block all that out, and you're listening, and you just hear the crackling of flame, and it almost, you don't hear anybody else in there. Nobody moving around, nobody pounding on windows. So if there's anybody in there, they're either dead or they're safe. Who never knows, whatever it is. But you definitely hear that fire crackling and roaring more than you would expect at such a scene. At that point, we're going to went back to the people who went back to the safe place. Back to the house, the Pack Central, the Pack Cave. You guys get downstairs to the locus, get to where it's hidden. Now, to step across, you guys will be able to see I have the Crossing the Gauntlet cheat sheet.
Yes. I will be using our kitchen or a mirror
Okay.
for the +1.
All right. So essentially, the way it works for Forsaken is if you're entering the world of spirit or the shadow, you take 10 and minus your harmony. Now, since you guys are all starting out, you're at 7 harmony, so that you have 3 dice. Then you apply the gauntlet. So you're doing it for reflective surface, so you get a +1 modifier, right? You're crossing during the day. That
So
creates
-2?
a -2 penalty. And you roll whatever's left.
I'd say, but the locus also gives us a +2
Yes, it does.
since we're crossing there, so that basically wipes out the crossing into the shadow during the day.
Yep, and luckily the gauntlet's only a 1 because of the locus.
So
Thank
then
God.
3 is what we're rolling, right?
Yep.
Now what?
You're looking at an 8, 9, or a 10. So there's
Right,
really
but what
there's
do
no
we-
mechanic for this. So just roll, like do the normal command for just rolling 3 to 10.
Backslash roll.
Yep.
Okay.
Roll that, and you're looking at 8, 9s, or 10s. Now before you roll, you can spend a willpower for +3 dice.
I will actually do
will
that.
I will not.
Okay,
I got 1 success.
that's all you need. And Linnea?
1 success, and it's a good thing I did that.
Yeah. So since it's only a 1, it takes 2 turns per level of gauntlet to cross over. So you guys, literally within like 6 seconds or so, you transition into the shadow. Now the shadow around your safe place is a mirror of what you see normally because you're a Urathapak who lives here, but everything's kind of tinged in frost right now. When you cross over, you'll see Frostwolf is waiting for you.
I'm going to start running back there.
Okay.
Yep.
So the wolf bounds up the stairs behind you, and Frostwolf is like the size of a dire wolf. So it's you guys in essentially like for old school Apocalypse or Hispo form. He comes up probably with his head, maybe your bottom of your rib cage, and he's just bounding behind you on the stairs. Whenever his footprints hit the stairs in the shadow, he leaves frost and snow behind him. So when you guys make it out into the street in the shadow, you will see the normal court of spirits you're used to seeing around your home are more empowered. You have water and cold right across the street in the park, as you guys see in the picture. As the snow's coming down, you can hear the laughter of some of the higher up like water and frost spirits echoing through the trees. When you look down towards the library down the street, there's dozens of small like fire gafflings and jagglings just dancing around that library. But they look wrong. Something looks off.
Okay.
You guys start heading your way down there still?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd say, can I recognize what's off about them? Is there, I mean, I've got a cult, I've got a few other things.
Wits and occult
Yeah,
would definitely be
something.
appropriate.
What's an occult?
Yep. And Jesse, your spirit courts would not apply to this. This is a bit of, oh, that's your politics. Never mind, I apologize.
Yeah, I'd say that would require my politics to be rolled
Yeah.
for this. It's not currently being rolled. Click to button. Why are you not?
I have 2 successes.
Okay.
It's not.
You had the same thing with me.
Reduce your character sheet. You can see the modifier small pop-up that'll be there.
My character. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep. Just click 0. Okay. Boop. Let it through.
There it
Jesus.
is.
Damn.
Okay. So as you guys, damn. All right, chat. So as you guys make your way down towards the library while it's on fire, you're looking at these jagglings and the gafflings, like what the hell's going on with them? Jeff, you realize that they're not behaving normally the way they would, and there's something like an unearthly glee about them as they're dancing around this. Like, yeah, fire spirits love this type of activity, and sure,
But-
especially in such a harsh winter, this would be something normally that they would be happy about because it's making them more powerful by creating essence because of the fire. But there's a maniacal glint in their eyes. They're doing it. Jesse, as you come in, you see these like little flame-shaped wisps flying around this library. Whenever you see those pinpricks of their eyes, like that lighter yellow among all the red and orange, that focus your direction, they're crazed. Something has driven them beyond their normal behavior.
I will actually literally grasp onto Vincent's shoulder. That's very not right.
So let's go fix it.
There's something else going on here.
So that concludes our first part of the session. The characters just discovered there's a fire down the street in the library that has engulfed the entire building. There's something obviously wrong with this, where the fire spirits nearby. They're going to investigate, and we'll see what happens next week.